carriage driving is a horse and carriage. For myself, it's a horse pair, so I have two next to each other. I started driving when I was 13 with a Shetland pony, and then I've generally increased everything since then. Invested a lot of time and a lot of money, and I've recently taken over the role of chairman for the Manx Harness Club as well, to try and promote the sport as best I can and try and increase its popularity here on the island, which seems to be going well. So hopefully that will increase as years go on.
Just how popular is it on the island currently then?
Years ago, we used to have quite a lot of turnout, so it would be about 20 odd. But recently that has diminished. So we're trying to build it back up again. And the last event that we held on the island was probably about 12. It's quite difficult bringing on young horses on the island, because obviously we can't take them to anything. So that's why I chose to become chairman, to try and get more competitions here so that we could build a basis to help the sport, and obviously myself to get my horses out to events here on the island. So 12 is quite a good number for us, to be fair. But hopefully we can increase it as next year. That's the plan anyway.
How easy is it for someone to get into? How prohibitive is it in terms of the equipment, and obviously the horses that you need? Is it an expensive thing to do?
It's I suppose deemed, compared to a saddle and a bridle, it is deemed more expensive. Buying a harness, you can start off with a £50 harness, but obviously if you want to get into it more, then obviously that does it cost a lot more. If you're breaking a horse in, you generally want a two-wheel carriage to start with, which is what I try and help clients with, to try and encourage them into the sport. So the outlay isn't as bad. It can be as big or as little as you want it to be. A lot of people just have a pony that's sitting in the field that they don't do anything with. So we can find them a job basically to enjoy the sport and use the pony for that. So the expense is not necessarily as big as you would expect if you're starting at the lower level.
What about the competitions then, and what do they involve? How are your skills tested within them?
So the competition that we do is a combined driving competition. So there's 3 phases. The first phase is dressage. So it's a 10-minute test, which can consist of collected trot, rein back, extended trots, one-handed circles, deviations, etc. And then we go on to the marathon phase on the second day, where that's usually covers about 16 kilometres through speed. And then you have 8 obstacles to drive as fast as you can with the letters A to F with the red flag on your right. And if you don't do them in the correct order, then you get penalised and pick up penalties. So the faster you are, the less penalties you pick up. This can be through over bridges, down hills, round at the World Championships, concrete posts. So it's quite skillful and technical, and you need to be absolutely 100% right. And then on the third day is cones, similar to the show jumping phase in eventing, where we have a set of 30 cones, and it's a measured course which has to be taken on at speed. And the cones have balls on the top, so if you hit them, you get 3 penalties added to your score. And then if you're over the time, then you get penalised. And the time is always very tight. So therefore, you need the skill and to hold your nerve for that phase.
And there's 2 of you on the carriage as well, isn't there?
Yeah.
So you've got there's a relationship there and roles there for each of you to undertake and working together.
Yes, exactly. So the groom is there to assist you if there's a problem with the horse. In the dressage, you need to get down and fix anything that might have come loose or whatever. And then and predominantly for safety reasons. On marathon day, they basically hold the carriage to the ground. So they need to lean out and jump the posts and jump the carriage around the posts if you're getting close to them. So you need to be able to communicate with your groom well. And then on Cones Day, they don't really get to see much because they can't walk the course. They can talk to you now, but obviously if they don't walk the course, they don't know where they're going. So they're basically there to try and lean out as much as they can as the speed gets up. So, yeah.
They're almost like a sidecar passenger in a
Exactly.
way as well, using that weight and that momentum to help out with the movement of the carriage. Well, looking at your performances recently, you've competed at both UK and world level. They came pretty quickly, 1 week after the other. You've done very, very well as well. You picked up the UK title, so congratulations. And you were very pleased with how you got on in the world as well.
Yeah, so we went to the national championships at the end of August, and we managed to win there for the second consecutive year, which was really nice. And then we had a week to travel across to Germany, the eastern side of Germany, just below Berlin, to partake in the World Horse Pair Championships, where we finished 14th out of 82 competitors.
Going into the UK one, I take it the aim was to defend the title, and you were confident that you could do that.
Yes, we'd had a really good season. I'd won all 3 selection trials that we competed in for the World Pairs, so I knew that the horses were on good form. We also did 2 other international events where we finished 5th and 7th. So I knew that they had it in them to do it. So we just focused on each phase and obviously trying to keep them sound, ready for the following week. But we did strong performances in all 3 phases really, which was really good. So yeah.
How did that make you feel? And going into the Worlds, what was your aim for that?
So it was a good practice really, because obviously when I've been to the World Championships previously, we've left it too long, between the last competition, and you kind of just get into a chilled mode.
You lose momentum almost. Yeah,
exactly. So it was nice to be able to do something close to get your blood up and get everything ready, and it's all fresh in your mind. That was the plan really for us. And to run through the test and get the horses in the competition environment, which obviously helps settle them, and then obviously keeps our minds occupied with what needed to be done really.
What's up next for you? And is there a bit of downtime now, or is more competition coming up?
Yeah, so the horses are on holiday now. They're in a field full of grass and they're very happy. But the plan is now to aim for 2 years' time, where we will be going, hopefully, selected to go back to the World Championships, which will be in Holland. I think it's late August in 2 years. So we're going to bring them back into work in a couple of weeks and start ridden dressage for the winter. And then plan to compete next year to do more international events and some national events to bring on my younger horse, because I have 4 at home. So the others need to still be brought back up, back up to the same level as the others.